Now, foreign ministers of the G7 group of nations have warned Russia of, quote, massive consequences if it were to invade Ukraine. The message comes on the final day of the G7 summit taking place in Liverpool, England. The Kremlin denies it has any plans to attack Ukraine, despite a massive buildup of Russian troops along the two countries' border. British Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said the group had sent a clear and collective message to Russian President Vladimir Putin. So here is more from the British Foreign Secretary.
What we've shown this weekend is that the world's largest economies are united. We've sent a powerful signal to our adversaries and our allies. We've been clear that any incursion by Russia into Ukraine would have massive consequences for which there would be a severe cost. We've also shown that we stand for freedom and democracy and the right of people everywhere to live free from oppression.
For more, I'm joined by Liz Schulke, a policy analyst here in Berlin. Liz, welcome to the show. The British Foreign Secretary there warning that there would be serious repercussions should Russia invade Ukraine. What would those actually look like?
Yeah, so both Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and U.S. President Biden have spent this week talking about these consequences. Biden is quoted as saying the economic consequences would be unlike anything Russia has already seen. However, he also made a clear point of stating the Ukraine is not yet in NATO, so U.S. forces will not be playing a role here. Liz Truss, however, has gone a step further and has talked about measures that the U.K. can take to help Ukraine shore up some of its defenses.
And is there any indication that the Russians are indeed taking these warnings seriously?
I think there's absolutely indication they're taking them seriously. I do think there's going to be some disappointment and resistance in how they are taking them seriously. For example, they have already shifted the blame back and said they're just being blamed for moving their troops around their own country, and have indicated that actually the aggression is on the side of Ukraine. I think the strongest indication they're taking this seriously is Vladimir Putin's call with President Biden earlier this week. So hopefully there will be some productive conversations moving forward.
Now, another thorny issue at the G7 meeting is, of course, Iran's nuclear program. Let's take a listen to Foreign Secretary Truss and listen to this clear warning she had.
This is the last chance for Iran to come to the negotiating table with a serious resolution to this issue, which has to be agreeing the terms of the JCPOA. This is the last chance. We will not allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon.
So, last chance for Iran. After this week's negotiations in Vienna, is there any hope of a breakthrough?
This is something that German Foreign Minister Baerbock indicated in her talks yesterday at the G7, that she's been disappointed there doesn't seem to be any breaks. It seems to be based on how Iran is coming to the negotiating table, that this is a step backwards. So I think that's why we're seeing some of the rhetoric around this shore up, as well as several of the members of the G7, like the United States, turning to allies. For example, Blinken met with Israel and as well have been in conversations with the Gulf about how can they make sure these sanctions are being implemented in an effective manner.
Liz Schulke, policy analyst in Berlin, thanks so much for joining us with that update.
Thank you.